When couples have fertility issues, very often they turn to artificial insemination, and that's using medical science to get pregnant in a doctor's office instead of the old-fashioned way. It's a topic that I'm very familiar with too, because it's how my husband and I conceived our twins, and then I went on to write a book about it to help others through the process as well. Now, back in the 1980s, when Margot was undergoing artificial insemination treatments using a sperm donor, it was common practice for patients to be cautioned by their doctors about telling a child that they were not biologically related to a parent.
He said to not ever tell her. And I think that was the consensus back then, was to not ever say anything.
And I was like, it's okay, Mom, like I'm not mad, I understand. I wasn't angry. It was one of those things where it just, everything kind of made sense at that point. Because my sister and I look absolutely nothing alike.
I've been married for about a year and I had not had any success. So I decided that I'd seek out medical attention, help. Dr. Kim McMorris was very well known in the area. He is an OB/GYN and he does work in fertility issues. After he began to investigate and he found out that Doug's sperm was not what it should be. It was very poor, low quality. So then he suggested the artificial insemination.
Margot recalls Doug's initial hesitation, but says he then did come around and became very supportive of the process.
He had to come sign papers to agree to it also, and he did.
First, they try with Doug's sperm and fail. And then they try mixing Doug's sperm with a donor from a sperm bank, and still no luck. But Margot isn't giving up, and she is determined to go back to the sperm bank for another donor.
It's like you're making the biggest decision of your life, and you have so little information.
Nowadays, you have so much more information available to you when you're selecting a sperm donor. You can get full testimonials from donors now.
I wanted to become a donor because I wanted to help families.
Including detailed profiles, childhood photos. You can even find out what their IQ is. But back in the 80s, the information on prospective sperm donors was basically just a small handful of facts.
There was one little sheet, and I took it home and I studied it. It had probably about 40 different donors on it. It had their eye color, their hair color, what their interests were, and their blood type. That's all I knew. And that's when I chose donor number 106. Well, he was interested in politics and film. And that's so alien to me, I thought he's the one. That list of donors that I had to choose from. I took it home and I put it in my jewelry box for the 16 years. And after her dad died, no one knew but me and Dr. McMorris.
Once she had selected donor 106, Margot had to prepare for the actual insemination itself. And it's a process that's extremely emotional, especially when you're being impregnated with the sperm of an absolute stranger.
You are awake the whole time. It's just like doing a pelvic exam. You know, you're up in the stirrups, you insert the speculum.
They tried and failed 5 times with donor 106, before finally the 6th time was a charm.
You don't forget that day because that's the day you get pregnant. And it is a monumental thing in your life because I wanted a baby so badly. And that was the one that took. I was just ecstatic.
And so was Doug. Fast forward 9 months, and their dreams have finally come true. Baby Eve is born, and there's even a photo of her birth, and there's Dr. McMorris, Margot's fertility doctor and OB/GYN, holding Eve moments after delivering her. It's clearly a triumph for everyone. So at what point did you decide, I want to find him?
Oh, immediately. That lingering question of who your biological father is, it's this constant question. The strangers passing by on the street, every new person that you meet. There's this mystery out there of half of who I am.
The first phone call was tracking me down to make sure that I am Steve Scholl, who was the sperm donor at the cryobank. 2 weeks later, they reach out and say, one of your genetic offspring wants to reach out to you and send you a letter. I was dumbstruck. I was like, whoa, crazy. I was a hippie, my hair was down to here, and I was on the road traveling around the world. And I came back from that experience and I moved to Los Angeles, but I was only working part-time. So I'm coming back from lunch one day and I see a flyer to be a sperm donor, and it pays well. I did it for the money.
It's around $75 a donation. And so it's not going to put you through college, but it does provide sort of pocket money.
God, I hate to brag, but they really liked my sperm. Good swimmers. And so they asked me to come back as often as I possibly could. And so for about almost 8 months to a year, I was a donor, probably 3 times a month. When I got married, which was a couple years after I had ended my donor days, my fiance was like, "You did what?" And she said, "This is going to come back and haunt you."